Alright, it's time for another update. I think we're on week 9. I think it's week 9, but this will be update 8 because I didn't do an update on the very first week since there were only 7 sets and it didn't really look like much yet. So hard to believe though that we have just wrapped up week 9. I've done some really exciting updates, one of which you can see in this video right now, if you look hard enough for it, if you haven't been watching the daily updates. If you've seen those, then you've already seen this. It won't be quite as exciting, but let's go ahead and get started. Here is the view from a distance, so you can see what everything looks like from afar. And then we'll go close up and see each of the 7 sets I've added, plus a couple of little additional accessory things I've added as well. So starting here in the front, I did not add anything to Paradisa this time, although I did move everything down so it's kind of its own section at this point. But I did change up a lot of the classic town. I've added some base plates, I rearranged some stuff. And I know the base plates won't be able to stay this way, but I'm just having fun with it as I go. I think that's kind of the fun part of this, is getting to watch how things evolve. You know, I'll take base plates away, I'll add new ones in, that kind of thing. Obviously all the sets will stay, but the accessories will change as we go. So for Classic Town, I did add pizza to go right here. I do just have the base plates for these resting on top of the other base plates, but I actually think it looks good that way. So I'm gonna leave it that way for now. I also added this little vehicle here, which is the highway emergency van. So no Paradisa, but 2 Classic Town sets. Obviously very small Classic Town sets, but still pretty cool. Down here at Space, I get to try and pronounce my hardest to pronounce set. I don't know why I struggle with this, so we'll see if I can get it on the first try. But here we have the Auxiliary Patroller, and I did boost it up on top of the Futuron Monorail kind of station there. And then you might have noticed that I actually have the Futuron Monorail train cars off the track at this point, and that is for a very fun reason. And I'll go ahead and show you that reason now. I have built my own custom monorail, and this one is going to be just in addition to what, you know, comes with the Futuron Monorail. I'll be running both of them. I wanted to have one that'll go around when I'm working on the Aquazone sets, and I did make it kind of Aquanauts inspired. And then when I'm working on space stuff, then I'll run the Futuron Monorail that way. I do plan to change out the battery box since that one's white and it kind of sticks out and stands out in kind of a less than great way, but I wanted to make sure everything works correctly. If you saw that last bulk lot I got, I did get this additional motor and the bases for this monorail, as well as 6 additional track pieces, so that was really exciting. I used the Futuron Monorail as a guide, and then I kind of changed things up, you know, obviously color-wise, but as well as some additional Aquazone inspired pieces to give it that look. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It kind of has some nods, I guess, to Seatron as well. So sad that never came to be, but I didn't want to have to order stuff or wait to build it any longer than I had to, so I literally built this out of pieces I had lying around my house, and I'll just replace that battery box, maybe get a light for it, we'll see, and then it should be done, so no additional cost there, which is nice. And then the set that I added this week was this one here, the Crystal Explorer sub, and those little accessories do belong to this set. The base plate doesn't, but it is nice to have it there and let the monorail run underneath of it. That's kind of fun. So next we have Pirates. Just a small set for Pirates this week, King Kahuka. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I don't really have much of the Islanders, but I do have a couple sets, so I'm gonna keep those probably towards this end. And I didn't want him just kind of sitting here, so I did put him on a blue base plate, so it wasn't just kind of empty space there. So that's all I did for Pirates this week. And squeeze through here without knocking anything over. In the Western and Adventurers section, I just added this little set right here, which was a little shell promotional set that was released in some European countries. If I remember correctly, I think it was UK, Holland, and Germany, according to brickset.com. I miss the shell promotional sets. So that was the little set for this week in the Western and Adventurers section. And then finally, in Castle, we had a much larger set, one that I truly love, and I added it right down here on the end. And that is the Forestman's River Fortress. And I think it looks really good next to the Wolfpack Tower, since they're both kind of water-themed sets. So we're making some progress with the castle sets. There are so many castle factions, it's just going to take a long time before we start seeing, you know, it looking a little more cohesive. So I'll turn everything on. I do want to run both of the monorails, so I'll probably do a little bit with the new monorail train cars, and then I'll go back and put the Futuron one. I don't think I can run them simultaneously because the batteries are not both charged to the full amount. Not the full amount, but like the same amount of charge. I'm afraid one of them will gain on the other one, and I don't want them to run each other off the tracks. Oh, I did forget to say, I did finally add my own vintage sig fig to the display, and I will be moving her around. But for right now, I did add her into the driver's seat of the monorail. So there is a vintage version, a vintage sig fig version of myself. And I get to drive a monorail, so I think that's really cool. Okay, go ahead and stop this section and start the train and the monorail up. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you all next time.